hackers affiliated with China's People's Liberation Army have infiltrated critical services here in the U.S.
Watch out. China's cyber army is on the attack.
China's cyber army is invading critical U.S. services, cause societal chaos inside the United States to affect our decision-making around a crisis.
Attack ports, attack water supply, attack energy supplies. So in short, China's preparing for war with the United States.
China-affiliated hackers hit critical U.S. infrastructure, computer systems for water, power, communications, and transportation bodies. They have been affected. This just coming out today. Now, this comes as yesterday. I share with you the breaking news live as soon as it came out. China's cyber army is invading critical U.S. services. A utility in Hawaii, a West Coast port, and a pipeline are among the victims in the past year, but this all intensifying and coming out just yesterday that this is going to be increasing because take a look at this coming out today, the big one, preparing for a long war with China. January and February 2024, they're saying that 2024 looks like it is going to be the year of war. The United States, China, Israel, Hamas, Ukraine, Russia, things are intensifying, and I'm going to be sharing with you the latest so you know exactly what's going on. So we're going to be taking a look at video footage and articles that have come out in the past 24 hours. But before we do me a quick favor. I know this is not the news that anybody wants to hear, that we could be looking at a potential war, that there could be cyber attacks, and there's at least 24 different known infrastructure systems that are under threats by China at this time. However, if you appreciate the information and you believe like I do that knowledge is power and us knowing what is going on is very important to prepare ourselves and our families, do me a quick favor, smash that like button. Just takes a second. To stay up to date, it's totally free. Why not hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, and please share this out with others if you think it will help. But with that being said, let's go ahead and dive right in and start off with some video footage that came out yesterday and today so you can see it for yourself.
The Post reveals hackers affiliated with China's People's Liberation Army have infiltrated critical services here in the U.S.
Alexandra Hoff joins us now from our nation's capital. Alex, this is not good.
No, it's not. I mean, this infiltration appears to be part of a broader effort to insert chaos into our logistical systems. The information collected could then be weaponized if the U.S. and China were to become engaged directly in the Pacific. According to reporting from the Washington Post citing multiple U.S. and industry security officials, China's cyber army is invading critical U.S. services, like an attempt to break into the system behind Texas's independent power grid. Other victims include a water utility in Hawaii, a West Coast port, and at least one oil and gas pipeline, according to that report you're seeing there. Brandon Wells, executive director of the Department of Homeland Security Cybersecurity Agency, told the Washington Post this, quote, "It is very clear that Chinese attempts to compromise critical infrastructure are in part to pre-position themselves to be able to disrupt or destroy that critical infrastructure in the event of a conflict, to either prevent the United States from being able to project power into Asia or to cause societal chaos inside the United States to affect our decision-making around a crisis." The report notes that over the past year, hackers affiliated with the People's Liberation Army in China have accessed the computer systems of about 24 critical entities.
Watch out. China's cyber army is on the attack, infiltrating 24 critical U.S. entities at least over the past year. Just some of the victims. You got a water utility company over in Hawaii, along with a major West Coast port and oil and gas pipeline. What are they up to? Here to react and to analyze, Co-Croft Center for Strategy and Security, Vice President Matthew Kenic. Matt, what are they up to?
Well, Brian, it's good to be on the show. And unfortunately, China's preparing for war with the United States. The strategy here is that they want to be able to invade Taiwan. They're worried that the United States will project military power from bases in Hawaii and the continental United States to Asia to defend Taiwan. And so what China's trying to do is to do these cyber intrusions, lay in wait, and at the right moment attack ports, attack water supply, attack energy supplies to prevent the United States from projecting military power forward. So in short, they're preparing for war.
Why do you think we're getting this story now?
Well, it's come out now, and I think part of the reason is that the administration, the U.S. government, has had a hard time getting these private companies to take the necessary security measures. You know, these companies, small utilities, aren't directly controlled by the U.S. government. They're small private companies, and so the Department of Homeland Security has tried to get them to increase their cybersecurity standards, has tried to get them even just to disclose that they have an issue, but often they don't want to do that. They don't want to announce to their customers that they have a problem, and they don't want to spend the extra money that would be required for cybersecurity.
And now public pressure could actually make them do this. They might say, hey, listen, my margins are small. I can't be worried about the latest in cyber defense force. Should the federal government play a role in defending these companies?
Well, that is one option, and the U.S. government does have a role in defending cyber attacks against U.S. military bases, against the Department of Defense, and so increasing the government's role could be part of the answer. Another part of the answer could just be speaking clearly with the American people and with these companies about the stakes here. You know, happy talk. We just had the Biden and Xi summit in San Francisco a month ago, pretending like the United States and China are going to somehow cooperate. I think we need to be clear with the American people that we're in a new Cold War with China, and let's hope it stays cold because it could get hot. This is going to be a serious rivalry for probably decades to come.
It seems like they wake up in the morning and think, how do we comprehensively defeat America in every way? And we're always defending their next action. Somehow we got to get them on their back foot. Is that possible?
I think it is possible, and China has a lot of weaknesses. Their autocratic model doesn't work. Their growth is really slowing down. Technologically, they've only been able to advance by systematically stealing intellectual property from the United States. In the security sphere, they're more afraid of their own people than they are of the U.S. Department of Defense. So they have real weaknesses if we're willing to take the gloves off and force them to compete. But I think that does require recognizing that we are in a serious rivalry. This isn't some kind of competition like a tennis match. This is serious.
And Matt, the thing is, do you know what could happen? Republicans and Democrats might be able to agree on this. Just like we used to agree that the Soviets were a threat, we could agree on this, and then where the rubber hit the road would be how we do it, how we defend ourselves. That was something we should use to galvanize ourselves. Also, if you see the economic statistics, to your point, it doesn't seem like China's ever been this vulnerable in modern times. They are really struggling with their economy, and with any market principles, it's hard to imagine them fighting their way out of it. We'll see. Matthew, thank you so much.
So there you have it. Sounds like China is preparing for war against the United States, and we are preparing ourselves. And take a look at this article that came out today that says China-affiliated hackers hit critical U.S. infrastructure. Hacking groups affiliated with China have targeted critical infrastructure assets in the U.S., including utilities, communications, and transport. The attack is seen as a part of China's Volt Typhoon cyber campaign, which the U.S. government has observed for around a year now. Hackers affiliated with the Chinese People's Liberation Army have allegedly intruded into the computer systems of dozens of critical infrastructure units of the U.S. government. These include water and power utilities, oil and gas pipelines, and transportation and communication entities. It is speculated that this is a part of a broader effort by the PLA to hit logistics targets in terms of the United States-China conflict in the Pacific region. Both China and the U.S. have blamed each other for years on cyber attacks. The latest series of alleged attacks from the Chinese have been referred to as the Volt Typhoon campaign. Key victims of the campaign include a port on the West Coast, water utility systems in Hawaii, a critical oil and gas pipeline, and a Texas power grid operator. So far, such intrusions have not caused any disruptions. However, the attacks on the systems in Hawaii has suggested to aim at potential disruptions to the operations of the Pacific Fleet. The hackers running the Volt Typhoon campaign have stolen employee credentials with backdoor entries and have used arbitrary home and workplace routers to hide their tracks. The Volt Typhoon attacks have been active since 2021 and have affected multiple sectors, including manufacturing, education, communications, information technology, utilities, construction, and more. The U.S. government has been working on mitigation strategies with tech companies and the private sector. This includes actions such as more stringent monitoring, improvements to authentication methods, and large-scale password resets, among others. This is far from the first cyber attack that has come from nation-state actors. Active PLA hacking groups have attacked entities in Canada and Guam, among others. The issue highlights the rapidly growing use of cyber attacks in warfare and geopolitics by countries worldwide and the need for governments to set up appropriate international mechanisms to deal with an increasingly precarious situation. And again, we've heard there are at least 24 different victims that we know of that have been hacked in the United States that could potentially be hit. We don't have the list of those 24 different entities. However, we do know among the victims are a water utility in Hawaii, a major West Coast port, and at least one oil and gas pipeline. People familiar with the incidents have told the Washington Post. The hackers also attempted to break into the operator of the Texas's power grid, which operates independently from the electrical systems in the rest of the country. scary, but if more information comes out on potential infrastructure systems that have been hit, I'll be sure to share with you here on the channel. And again, this just coming out in the past 24 hours as I reported this to you live, and also in addition to that, last week we received word that the United States broke a record for illegal crossings into the United States, and the FBI warning that a lot of those coming over here are likely these attackers preparing to wreak havoc on the United States. Now, if you'd like to get more information on that with the latest video footage, be sure to check out these videos right here next as I cover it in detail for you. Now, as more information comes out, I'll be sure to share, but that is the latest. Thank you so much for joining me here on the channel, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.